Do what you can to protect yourself. Well, the closing arguments in the trial of confessed rapist Nicholas Ninow have wrapped up in the North Gauteng High Court, and judgment will be heard next month. ENCA's Aviwe Mtila is tracking that story. He's been in court, particularly yesterday as well, Aviwe, which was an incredibly disturbing day. The testimony of that 8-year-old little girl. Of course, reporters, I understand, not allowed to sit in and listen to it, but you did hear the testimony of her mother.
Yes, Marcel, it's definitely a heartbreaking testimony that we heard from the mother, detailing how they went into that bathroom, how they pushed, and the state that they found Nicholas Ninow in, the now self-confessed rapist. He was naked, as it was detailed yesterday, and he actually ran with some of the items, clothing items of the child, including a maroon tight and the child's panties, ran into the male bathroom, and where he proceeded to wipe himself, his private parts, using those items, and then flashing away the panty of that young girl. Today it was up for discussion again as to why was Nicholas Ninow at that lady's bathroom, which the defense couldn't basically argue it properly as to why he was there. We understand he himself didn't take his stand, but today they were just rounding up, both legal teams just rounding up their final arguments. We understand at this stage now that the judgment will be delivered on the 16th of September. That is next week, Monday. But just joining me now is the provincial chairperson of the EFF, just to give us her take. Thank you for joining us at ENCA. But just your take on what went on today and the verdict that we're hearing on Monday.
Yes, the entire process proves exactly what we've been arguing, that we have a very perpetrator-friendly criminal justice system, proven by one, the obsession of having to state that he was drunk, or rather suggest that the rapist pig was drunk and that he was on drugs. It shouldn't make a difference whether you are drunk or you're on drugs. In a country where we as black women and black children are under siege to the extent that we are, if you keep on pushing this narrative in the courts and keep on teaching the judiciary that if you can push a narrative of drunkenness, you'll get a slightly lesser sentence. We are in a country where alcohol is abused terribly, and that same alcohol industry gives us no returns in terms of jobs and economic spin-offs for the poor. In fact, it actually abuses the poor more. So what's going to happen? Where already we've got an 8% or 6% conviction rate of gender-based violence cases, especially against black victims, right? What's going to happen is that every other man who even has an intention to rape, like this pig, Nicholas, will go on and drink and say, no, but it looks like when you drink and you're on drugs, you can actually get away with murder. Our complaints have been very consistent. We marched on the 18th of April, precisely because of the problems that we've experienced here. We marched on the 22nd of August, precisely to stress and emphasize that the criminal justice system in its entirety is not positioned to protect us. In fact, it is positioned to protect perpetrators. The defense of Nicholas Ninow was talking about trying to prove that where he was sitting, didn't prove that he was, this was a premeditated crime and therefore it was accidental. That's even a worse argument. I mean, how do you accidentally, unintentionally, unplanned rape a child, a baby? It actually shows what grave danger all our children are in if, in fact, a person can just at the spur of the moment. But then the fact that the defense tries to argue that he was in the ladies' bathroom, for a justifiable reason. Let me tell you, it doesn't matter whether he was doing drugs or not. There's nothing that justifies a man going inside a female's toilet for whatever reason. I mean, men relieve themselves outside all the time. So there's really no, justification. But the reason why the defense can come up with such putrid, ridiculous, and really purely downright insulting arguments to defend their rapist clients is because they know that in South Africa we have a patriarchal, sexist, racist, anti-black women and anti-women in general, criminal justice system that will entertain all sorts of ridiculous arguments. I mean, the judiciary is independent, but they cannot be free of criticism. That's not correct. That is not democracy. Even a president can be criticized and must be criticized. The judge's stance today was very hostile towards the prosecutor, who's a black woman. and who was really trying to present the best case she possibly could under the circumstances. He was not as hostile with the defense, who's a white male lawyer protecting a white male pig who raped a little black girl. So we are dealing with a system that is stuck in coloniality, in colonial mentality, and in anti-black women mentality. Just the judge's attitude towards the prosecutor alone. Lots of hostility, lots of interruptions while she's presenting her case, literally to the point of even ridiculing her, because at some point he laughed. But there were many ridiculous things that were said by this white man who even looked drunk. The judge of... the lawyer of Nicholas looked drunk to all of us, right? And the judge was very friendly, very nice, and we can't allow a situation like that. We need judges to be trained. We said that. We need them to be trained, all of them, in the sensitivities of handling such cases. But lastly, we objected to the child being cross-examined.
I'll have to wrap that. Thank you very much for that, Siswam. We do understand, of course, that on the 16th of September, next Monday, the judgment for this particular case will be heard. And we do understand that the prosecution is asking that he should be convicted according to the evidence of the little child that they heard here yesterday, since Ninow himself didn't take to the stand. Thank you, Michelle.
And of course, there was plenty of criticism that the little girl, in fact, had to take to the stand. But we know that the NPA is saying it was so important for her to give her side of the story, given what the defense for Nicholas Ninow was trying to put forward in court. Thanks very much for that update. Aviwa Mtila is live to us there in the North Gauteng High Court.